Atelier Mariekuniek Podcast, a podcast about the fiber arts and a little about glass. My name is Marieke and this is episode number 6. Today is May 29, yes, and I am coming to you from the Netherlands, and I live about 20 kilometers from Amsterdam, our capital. So that's a bit about where I'm from. But first let me tell you where to find me online. For the show notes you can go to my blog, which is ateliermariekuniek.blogspot.com. There also is a group on Ravelry, which is Atelier Mariekuniek. And I have, if you would like to find my own projects and such, you can find them on Ravelry at Mariekuniek. And I do think I forget something. Oh yeah, I do. You can find me on Instagram at Atelier Mariekuniek. Today I would like to talk about a little about my finished objects, some things I have on the needles, and some things I am rather busy with at the moment. And I also would like to take you into my lampwork studio and show you how I make beads. But before I go any further, I would like to thank you for coming to my podcast. So if you are a returner viewer, thank you so much for returning to me. And if you are new to my podcast, I hope you will enjoy your stay and will consider to give it a thumbs up at the end and maybe subscribe and hit the button to be notified. But anyway, there are a lot of podcasts around, so if you don't like mine, please don't hesitate to go to another one. My finished objects. I have two. One of it is what I'm wearing, because I also started sewing. I made this frock and I used a pattern from Dottie Angel, this frock pattern, which I bought from Simplicity. I also bought this one. I'm planning on making the next time. And I made it in linen in 2 colors, and I had some, I will stand up so you can see. There are some things I would do another way next time. I really liked the pattern, except I think next time I will raise the neckline at the back and maybe even a bit here on the front, because this is a t-shirt that doesn't belong there normally. This is the pattern, what the pattern looked like without my t-shirt. Give it a bit more body. I think maybe next time I will add a bit more here and I make the neckline higher so it will not come off my shoulders, because this is what the problem is constantly. It's constantly drawing to one side. For the rest, it is an easy fit and I really like the look, so I will definitely make more of that pattern. So that's the first thing. The next thing that I finished is my yoke sweater with color work. As you can see, I don't put it on because it's very hot at the moment here in the Netherlands, and it's like beautiful summer weather, so it's way too hot to wear. I told you last time I had a bit of a problem that because the rowan yarn, the felted tweed I used, made I needed more stitches, and it didn't decrease enough in the pattern to come to a nice neckline. So I added this design to house 2 extra rows of decreases, and now it's beautiful. I blocked it, so it turned out very nice. The only thing I have to adjust are the sleeves. As you can see, they turned out very long because of adding the extra part of the yoke. So I will cut 1 row and put some out and attach them again, so I will have a better fitted sleeve. But for the rest, I'm very happy with the way this turned out. The colors are absolutely lovely, and I can't wait to wear it in autumn and winter. But so my finished object. Let me talk a bit more about what's on my needles. I have a lot. I'm not going to talk about everything because I have my jellyweed socks. I haven't knitted on those, so I will not talk about those. I also have well, I totally forgot what I also had. Let's look at my notes. Yeah, my bay leaf scarf. If you would like to know what it's all about, please visit my Ravelry page and see what it's all about. It's a pattern of the Leafy Brioche book by Nancy Marchand. But I haven't worked on those, so I don't show them. The first thing I did work on is housed here, and as you can see, it's the same. The fabric from these I also used for my dress. I am knitting for my daughter, so Marjolein, I don't know if you are watching my podcast, but if so, please look away, because the only thing you don't know about is what it's what it looks like knitted, because she bought the yarn together with me, and we both decided on which pattern I was going to use, which is Marin from Isolda, which is a lovely scarf with scallops at the one side. I am using smoothie yarn with cashmere from Dream Yarns, dreamincoloryarns.com, and it's the herbal colorway, and it knits up beautiful. I'm knitting it on Knit Pro needles 3.5, I think. Yeah, 3.5. And this is where I'm at the moment. Let me show you. I think I'm about half. It will need a good block to stretch it out, but I think it's going to be a lovely scarf. She will receive it for her birthday, which is at the end of July, so I have a bit more time. I'm only knitting on it when she is not at home, so I'm pretty sure it will be finished before her birthday. Because I only knitted on this one, I think, 3 times, so it's moving very fast. And I'm decreasing from now on, so that makes it flow even more. Next thing on my needles is something I cast on, and I'm using my homespun. I showed you last time. It's a Scottish blend I bought at Meerveld, a shop in town here in Haarlem, and this is the yarn. It's a rustic yarn, I believe. I will show you the blend. It's beautiful, fluffy. And this is what it looks like so far. I'm not, I must say, a very experienced spinner, so my yarn isn't really very even. But I don't mind. I love the spinning process. It's giving me a lot of ease and how do you say that? It relaxes me very much. Even more, it relaxes me even more than knitting. So, and with knitting I sometimes even, I don't know if that's an age thing, but when I am knitting a lot and very mindless knit, I can even start tumbling away a bit into sleep. But, well, spinning even relaxes me more, so I love the process. Let me put away this in the bag. Sorry. So, I'm knitting the Andy pattern from Junko Akomoto. This is the short version, but I'm knitting the long version because I want to have a very long cardigan, but can also be well, I can put on as a coat, I wanted to say. So I showed you this, and here it is so far. I will put it on because then you can see. And I'm spinning as I go, and I noticed some irregularity in the knitting. So I think I balled up a skein. I didn't wash and finished yet, so that the twist has not been set. That's what I think is going on here, but I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to block this and I think it will be alright then. But for the rest, I love this. It's going to be such a cozy, warm cardigan. I really like the way this turns, and it's a very fast fit, very fast knit, I must say. So that's also a positive as well. Also positive as well. It's housed in my cardigan. my sweater bag, which is, I only have one. This is my sweater bag at the moment. I have one other finished object, but I don't consider it exactly finished, so that's why I'm talking about it at this point. These are the socks I knitted for Ernst, the boyfriend of one of my nieces. And they are finished, but I am not happy with the way I bind it off. So I will redo that, because this one looks kind of nice, but this one definitely doesn't. So I am going to knit them, or how do you say it? Rebind off them. What to say next? Yeah, normally I knitted these from the toe up with a fish lips kiss heel, and then it's a normal sock without no fancy, just a plain vanilla sock. Only the craziness from the yarn, which is resulting into completely different socks, but he liked them, so that's no problem. I am also knitting socks for the boyfriend of my other niece, and those turned out very well. They are also plain vanilla socks, only this time I knitted them from in my normal way. So I knitted them 2 at a time, from the top down, with a normal heel flap and gusset. The heel, can you see? I hope so. I balled up 2 balls from one skein. Sorry, one is falling down. So it's normal one ball, and I thought I want to knit them 2 at a time, so I balled up two little yarn balls, and one didn't turn out very nice, so I balled it again, and now somehow the color, the way the color goes, is looking a bit at the same. The colors aren't completely the same, but as you can see, the way the movement of the colors is a bit the same, so I really like that. Apparently it fitted more with my OCD. Anyway, I'm knitting the toes at this moment, dus these will be finished very soon. Both of these socks are knitted in a Sauteuse Crazy from Shoppenwolle, and the one for, I must say, the one for Ernst are in Meilenstein, and the last one I showed you is Jackie Hose. So that's all I have to show for socks. And the last thing I am knitting and I would like to show you is another thing I am knitting with my own homespun. And let me show you. I bought different fiber blends from a shop called Elvenwolle. It's on Etsy, and the fiber I bought for myself is this one. It's a 40% wool, 20% linen and 40% silk, Tusa silk, and it was a lovely blend with all kinds of colors. And I am knitting a T with it, which is this one. As you can see, all kinds of muted colors, yellows and greens, all natural. And I really like the way the striping goes. I am knitting the Mary Jane I'm using Mary Jane from Mary From, which is a free pattern on knitty.com. And I used this one because that fitted my stitch gaze. So I'm using this one for the measurements for the yoke part. But as you can see, I added a different, I have to show you this. I added a different part for the neck part. And I'm knitting a bit more A-line, and I am finishing at the moment with some extra short rows at the back. I was afraid I would not have enough yarn, so I ordered some new, and I spinned those and made I divided the wool in two because I would like the arms to knit up a bit similar. So I did spin two balls. The yarn I spinned, sorry for the ums, the constantly ums. I'm thinking so much. Talking isn't going very smoothly then. So I did spin, and then I twined it with this. And this is a cone I have in my stash. I have several, because a while back, a few years back, I bought a loom, a rather large loom, which was in my studio. But because in my lampwork studio I placed it and it was too big. So eventually I decided I was to sell it. I was going to sell it, but I kept those canes because I also have a table loom, so maybe I will once start weaving with it. But for now I used it to twine the yarn with, and that's what resulted in this is the yarn, as you can see. So one part of the blend and one part silk, no linen. So I'm planning on finishing this top with 3/4 sleeves, and then with the two color, how do you call this? A rib, a two color rib. And as you can see, because I knitted the first row with the light color, which by the way is a similar blend I bought, and those are the yarns I bought to combine it with, which are, and I have to look for the labels, from BC Carn, Colori, and one is a neutral, which is number 16, there are no names on this, and one is number 12, and that's the green one. And I am knitting on Knit Pro interchangeables, and this I am knitting on, I believe, 3.0, which I don't know which size it is in American, but I will put it in the show notes. But these are my favorite needles at the moment. I really love knitting with those. But this is my tea. That's all I am knitting on at the moment. Oh, there goes my pattern. Well, I leave it on the ground and will pick it up after I'm finished podcasting. I also bought some more fiber at Elvenwolle. This one, for instance, which is Spice Market. I already did spin all the fibers I bought, so I can't show you what they look like in the fiber, but maybe I can put a picture in later on. This is a 67% wolle BFL. It's 30% silk, and that's it. And it's about 120 gram. And the blend was a mix of these colors, so dark reds and browns. And I wasn't very happy with the dark reds in the brown, so I pulled those parts out, and spin those apart from the rest. And turned them into a 3-ply using Navajo plying technique. So here's, okay, let me show. Here's what it looks like. On its own, I like the result, although I think it's a bit dark, but maybe when you combine it with some lighter shades, it will turn out okay. Anyway, the other parts were the lighter parts with the more coppery colors, and I made those into a 2-ply. And I am going to knit a cowl with this for my son, because he is always wearing a hat, and you can see the colors are a beautiful match. So I think this would be nice for him to have as a combination. And I have to reach, because I put it on my table way too far. Oh, sorry. I also bought this blend. It's called Sturmreiter. I don't know, I don't speak German, so it's a 76% wool and a 33% Tussa silk, also 120 grams. And that's a blend with more grays and purples and a bit blue and even a bit of pink. And this is what I made with it. As you can see, beautiful colors. And I was thinking of making a cowl for my husband with these. Maybe I even will steal it from him from time to time, because as I put it like this, I think the colors will suit me well as well. The last thing I would like to talk about is what is making me busy at the moment, because I decided I would like to get more experience in natural dyeing. Since it's springtime, all my garden is starting to bloom and to grow, and I would like to investigate what kind of colors are in my garden, and I would like to start dyeing with natural materials. So I already started. I bought I went to Meerveld, which is a shop in Haarlem that sells a lot of materials, wool blends, and they are mostly working with felting. That's their main goal. So not spinning, or they don't sell yarn. They only sell material, mostly sell material to wet felt and materials to dye the wool. So I have this lovely box I dedicated to be my box with materials for dyeing. I will keep them in there. So as you can see, there are lots of plastic. There are some, oops, that's not an easy way to go. Yeah, this is. I have some glass, which I should have closed. So now my alum is in the box everywhere. So I bought alum. I bought some aluminium sulfate, alusulfate. Oh, I had those in the house, I must say. I also bought some cream of tartar, some lovely notebooks to keep my notes in and my example, and I also bought, and I'm very anxious, I bought indigo, because I also would like to make an indigo vat. And I have lots more. I already bought some other materials to dye with. I don't have in my house, like cochineal, sorry, and makeup. I don't know the names of these yet in English, so and some walnut, well, all kinds of stuff that aren't in my neighborhood, I think, yet. And this, anyway, that's what's in there, and some lovely text to write notes to keep my yarn tagged, so I will know what I used. So that's what I am planning at the moment. I already played a little. I made up all kinds of, and I'm reaching down here, of small skeins, because when I bought, I told you before about buying the loom and the linen, I also received a lot of these, and I know it's a wool. It's a single ply. I'm not familiar with what kind of wool it is. The lady I bought the loom from didn't tell me, but it's super soft. That's what I know. And since I have a lot of those, I thought this was a nice study material, so I skeined up. I made a lot of skeins, about 20 grams. Okay, the last thing I would like to talk about is glass. and particularly glass beads and how I make them. But first, if this doesn't interest you, then you can stop watching here. So let me take this opportunity to thank you for watching this episode. I hope you liked what I showed you so far. If you would like to see more and would like to return, then hit the subscribe button, and if you hit a notification button as well, then every time I upload a new podcast you will get a notification. Anyway, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time. But for those who are interested in seeing how I make my glass beads, please stay and I will show you. I will take you to my studio in the backyard in a moment and show you how I make beads. But before I do so, I wanted to show you one of the process keepers I made lately. And I really like the way this one turned out. It's a little bird. And for those of you who followed me on Instagram, you already seen those, and maybe you even saw my question, because I know there are a few people who are afraid that progress keepers made out of glass are a bit fragile and you can choose them. But well, I think that's not the case. So I use them all the time, although my normal stitch markers are a bit smaller, because it's glass, so it will be a bit heavier, but I thought these are cute and I was wondering, would you buy those? So if you are have any idea about it, please put a note below or on my Ravelry group. I will open up a thread there as well, where you can leave your answer. But well, I think they're rather cute and I would like to make more, and was wondering, there is a fly going right in front of me. So yeah, but let me take you to my studio and show you how I make beads. Let me welcome you in my glass studio. As you can see, I started wearing my glasses. I wear reading glasses, but work glasses, because I also can see surroundings, so it's multi, I don't know how you call it, well, doesn't matter, multi nog wat, glasses. Because I need my reading glasses when I make beads, and making beads I do in a flame, and here is a burner. You can almost not see it because there's so much, there's a mess after it. This is a mini CC burner I borrowed from a friend of mine, because I always wanted to try one out. I have a mini CC myself, which is another brand, but this would have more surrounding heat, so you can do more stringer work. Doesn't matter if you don't know what I'm talking about, but that's the reason why I borrowed her mini CC. She has another burner because she works a bit larger than I do, so that's why. This is my glass oven, my annealing oven. So when I am finished producing the bead in the flame, it goes directly in this kiln. At this moment it has a garage heat of 490 degrees Celsius. So that's the noise you hear is from my exhaust, which takes out all the bad fumes, and there's on top is it's going outside, so it moves the fumes to the outside. What you can see is here is a part of my glass cabinet with all kinds of all different brands of glass. I mostly use Moretti and Sim, but I also have some silver glass and some Lauscha and some Reichenbach, but those I mostly work with Moretti. And below there you can see is a concentrator that produces, that's one of the two I have, that produces the oxygen to control the flame. So there is propane coming in, but also oxygen, so you have a more steady and heat, very hot flame to burn the glass. Yeah, so I will go and give you all another look, so you can see what I'm doing in the flame. When I'm making beads, I use my protective glasses. As you can see, I prefer this way because I do have an over a glass, this one, but it's so heavy I don't like the feel of it, so I am using my smaller glasses and put them on like this. No one sees me, but you at the moment. The reason I wear these glasses is because this is protection for your eyes, for the flame. Let me start by making a bead. So I'm going to move you to the side. Here we go. I think this will work. At least I hope this will work. Now, let's take my glasses. And yeah, there you go. I'm going to put on my concentrator, so I have to take a dive. I'm going to heat. These are my it's my creation station. It's a lovely way to rest my hands, and I will use those a lot, but I will try to not get into the way, so you can see a bit from what I'm doing. And let me first introduce you the main items I use the most. The items I use the most while making beads. First, it is a simple knife, kitchen knife. This is the nifty little thing you probably recognize from the dentist. I use these to pull, and this is, how do you call it? Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe I come up. I do know, but it doesn't come up. So my tweezers, that's what it is. My tweezers. So I am going to light my propane, and this is a pedal with graphite. Sometimes I use this as well, and this is a pointy thing which I can make holes in the glass. So, a tungsten pointy thing. Okay, here's my flame. And I am going to add the oxygen, so you can see the flame is turning into a very steady, sharp flame. And this is a mandrel, this is an RVS rod which is dipped in bead release. So when I melt the glass on top of the mandrel, it will come off later. And I decided I will show you how I make this little bird. So I take some gray. I already have some black laying around, and I also will use some light gray, and that's about it. Those are the colors I am using for my little bird, and I will put those other colors aside. I used them before, and I will start with the light color. I am introducing this color into the flame. As you can see, I dip it because sometimes their glass has the nasty way of splashing out when introduced in the flame, so you have to be careful, and this is the way to go. I am melting, and I'm not sure if you can see. It's red hot. I am melting the top of the rod onto the, and that's the start. And as you can see, when it cools down, it's almost getting its own color back again. But when you are working, when it's molten, you can almost see through. So, as you can see, it's quite hot, so I move it here so I don't touch it. This is the below part of the little bird. I make them quite small, as you can see, because otherwise it will be way too large, the end result. Now I'm starting with the dark color. Melt it next to the light color. So I will get a part with the light color and a part with the dark color. When it's cooling down, I can show you. Here it is. So now I'm going to make the little head. So I am melting down one side again and put a large dot on one side of the bead. making sure it's well attached. As you can see. And then I take the light color again, because I want to make those light eye parts. So there will be a small dot on one side and a small dot on the other side, and those I will try to melt in evenly. And then I'm going to use something that's called a stringer. It's this one. There's a very thin line of glass, and I heat one of those eye sockets and put in the stringer and make sure it stays there. It cools down. I blow a little and I break it off. The other side as well. I pull in, blow a little, wiggle a little, and then break it off. And there you have the eyes. And of course, this little one also needs a beak. But before I'm going to do that, I also add a little tail on the back, which I do like this. I spot heat one side, and I pull it out just a little and pull it out. I'm not quite happy because this tail is a bit on the side, so I'm going to melt it in again. Because let's face it, this tail should be completely at the back, so I will redo that again. Place just at the side. So here goes a little tail, and of course he also needs some wings, so that's what I am going to attach at the sides. I will heat the dark color, heat the side so it will bond, place them together and take them out. And there are his wings. Then I will attach the little beak, so a bit of black, a bit of spot heating on the head part, rubbing some black onto it, and there you have it, a little birdie. And this one I reheat a little and it goes into the kiln. This is what I want to show you about bead making. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I will show you in more different things in next episodes. I'm not sure because well, I'm not sure. It's a part of my life, and although it's not fiber related, so I'm not sure if you would like to see this. So maybe it's time to reconsider whether or not I want to also start a podcast about glass bead making. But anyway, maybe it's simply this still is a nice addition to other podcasts, to have not only some fibers but also not only talking about knitting or sewing, but also a little bit about bead making. That makes it a bit different from the rest of the podcast. So I hope you enjoyed your stay with me, and if you